I was thinking. The rather fashionable garment worn by the fellow in this medieval illustration is known as braies. Braies are usually described as the medieval type of trousers. Occasionally they're described as medieval underwear. I think people are thinking about them incorrectly. I think braies should be thought of as breechcloths. I think that because that's basically what they were, just an oversized breechcloth. The garment this fellow is wearing is literally just a big rectangle of cloth tucked into a belt. Notice how the legs of the garment have corners. These corners are evidently annoying the wearer because he's tied them up to his belt so that they wouldn't flap around and hit him in the shins. Why would you design a garment to have corners that annoyingly flap around and hit you in the shins? You wouldn't, which tells us that the corners are just incidental. Reenactors are divided on how to recreate this garment, some people electing for complicated patterns that involve a lot of sewing, other people electing for a quarter of an old bedsheet. Here's how they work. You take a piece of cloth that's about 3 feet in the one dimension and more than that in the other dimension. You tuck the short side between your legs under a belt. You then go around and tuck the rest of the hem into your belt until the front and back halves have met and the excess cloth has wrapped around the legs. Notice how this method produces that triangular cuff and the annoying corners which flap around and hit you in the shins. Just like in the illustration. An alternative to tying up the corners is to simply roll up the hem, as though you're about to wade through a creek. This matches certain other illustrations. If this is the correct interpretation, then one thing I find extremely bizarre is that people went from trousers to this. In the Roman era, the Gauls and the Brits, they had proper trousers, oversized misshapen trousers, but trousers nonetheless, and they decided to go from that to an oversized breechcloth and leggings. And it wasn't until the late 1700s that somebody had the idea of proper trousers again. Just seems a little strange to me. Just a thought.